Hi, my name is Isis and welcome back to the Isis G channel. Today I wanted to talk about an interesting topic that I don't really express to a lot of people, but I thought it would be good for me to talk about it. So this video is going to be dedicated to why I decided to start my own business. Now on my website I always think like maybe I should put, you know, why I decided to start a hair brand, why did I want to start a beauty brand, but I think it will come across the wrong way, because the reason why I started a beauty brand wasn't because I had a passion for all things hair. And in fact, I started a beauty brand because I have severe allergies, and a lot of the stuff in the hair store was made of soybean and all types of oils that I was actually allergic to. So that's why I ended up starting my own hair care brand, is because I had allergies. But it goes deeper than that, and I want to explain to you my mindset when I started this brand. So I'm going to take it back to the beginning. So when I was younger, I grew up broke, like broke. We had no money. We would have to often go to the Catholic charities to pay for our food. We have to go to Catholic charities to pay for our electric. We were homeless at one point, and this happened in high school, where we lost our apartment and I had to move in with my aunt, and my mom had to move in with a friend, and we lived separately for about 6 months. And I would say that was a very traumatic experience in my life. And yeah, we weren't actually out on the street or had to stay in shelter, but I mean, I promised myself in my brain that I would never allow myself to be in that situation again. And I was very purposeful in the career that I chose when I went to college. And honestly, when I went to college, like I didn't even really care. I didn't have any intent of actually going to school. What motivated me was I had very smart friends, and this is why association is very key. I didn't have any examples in my household or in my family of higher education. Nobody in my family went to college. Nobody ever thought about going to college. It was just like something that was beyond us. But I had a lot of friends that all applied to college, all applied to higher education. And quite honestly, I didn't want to be left out with that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to apply to college too. So the good thing about being poor is that the government pays for your tuition. So I would get grants that would pay for my college tuition, and a lot of times those grants were more than my actual tuition. I actually went to a community college, and I would say I would get $5,000 a semester in grant money to go to college, and my semester would only cost $2,500. So I would leave that semester banking $2,500, and for the year I would make $5 grand just for going to school. So that's why I went to school. Then as I was pursuing my college education, I really wanted to be a graphic designer, so that's what I signed up for. But as I was hearing and I was listening to people within the field, they were saying like, you know what, if you want to be a graphic designer, you don't really need to go to college for it. And then I had other people in my ear saying, you know, it's more valuable to go to school and gain a skill. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm always going to be an artist. I'm always going to draw and paint and do all the fun artistic stuff that I want to do. Why don't I actually gain a skill? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't want to struggle anymore. I want to have food on the table. I don't want to be evicted again. You know, I just want to live a stable life. So I had to think what was going to allow me to be in school for the shortest period of time but give me a high salary. So a friend of mine, she has been a dental hygienist for, I would say, about 15 years or 20 years. I'm not sure. But anyway, she's the one that encouraged me to be a dental hygienist. She was like, Isis, it only takes 2 years. Just go ahead and do it. So in my brain, I'm like, bet. I'm going to go to school for 2 years, make $40 an hour when I get out, and then I can be a hygienist. It's going to be easy. I was so wrong. It was not easy. It was the hardest, beyond being homeless, that was like the hardest experience of my life. And then being a dental hygienist, it doesn't take 2 years. It actually takes 4 years, because you need 2 years of prereqs and then 2 years of the actual dental hygiene program. And I would say dentistry is very racist. And that is why I definitely do not want to make a career of dental hygiene, but maybe we can make another video about that. But I'm going to talk about the racism I experienced within school. So when I actually got into the dental hygiene program, I had a car, and I was really proud of that car. I worked really hard with it. I used some of the money that I got for my tuition, my grant money, to go buy the car. And my mother totaled it, basically. And I didn't have a car after that. She didn't have a car. I didn't have a car. My car was totaled. I got into the dental hygiene program. I was stuck. But thankfully, and this is like God, thankfully my friend, my childhood friend, just so happened to get accepted into the program as well. So she picked me up. I'm so thankful for her. She picked me up for 4 months every day and took me to all of my classes. So she's going to be my forever friend. But me pushing through dental hygiene school was a struggle. I had lost my job. My job fired me because I went to dental hygiene school. So I was able to live on unemployment. But it was just a real hard struggle. There was even a point when I was towards the end of my program, and my mom didn't pay the electric bill, and I spent 6 months studying under the street light in order for me to pass my exams. And I remember on one occasion where I had failed a midterm. We never had internet in our house, so I would have to go to the library and spend hours until the library closed just studying for exams, looking stuff up online. And my teacher, she didn't know that. She didn't know I wasn't coming home to food, and I had failed my test. So she comes to me and she says to me, "Isis, you know what? You are not going to pass this class. I would just suggest dropping out and becoming a receptionist." And I'm like, what? Like, you're going to encourage me to do more, or to do better, or take some extra credit. She literally told me to drop out and become a secretary, a receptionist. So I was really taken back by that. I actually ugly cried about it in front of her. And I went to my mom, and my mom was like, "Don't let that woman," she said some other things, but I won't say that. But she was like, "Don't let that woman tell you you can't do anything." So I buckled down. I passed her class. I got a 99 in my final, and I finished. And later down the line, she actually, like, I don't know if she actually, it was an apology or whatever. She was like, you know, she was proud of me that I pushed for it. But then meanwhile, in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you told me to be a receptionist, but whatever. So I graduated, but it was really hard for me to find a job. And I don't know if it was because I was a new graduate or I was a black woman. And like I said, dentistry is very racist. So, you know, I know that I was passed up for another white female, because especially in New Jersey, there's nothing but white or Asian hygienists and doctors. There's rarely you're going to find a black dentist. It's rare that you're going to find a black hygienist. We're just non-existent. So I know it had to do partially with race, but I buckled down and I took a job that was a trash. Like, it was a bad situation. I mean, the doctor was okay. She was kind of mean to me, but I just tolerated it. I worked in like a closet. My suction, I had to pour out people's spit every day because she didn't have the setup where the spit actually went into a vacuum. I had to physically pull out the spit and pour it down into the sink. It was a really horrible job, but I pushed through it because I'm like, I graduated, I'm making $30-something an hour, I'm never gonna be homeless again. And I'm telling you, I put all of my passion into that job. I mean, her schedule with patients, they were inconsistent. They weren't coming in. I wasn't taking lunches. You know, I was just trying to see as many people as possible, because I wanted her to see how much passion I had for this job, how I wanted her business to grow, how I really cared about those patients. I just really wanted to show her that. So fast forward, and I mean, I don't want to take all the credit, but the woman was able, the doctor was able to buy another practice. So I was only there for almost 4 years. I was there almost 4 years. The doctor bought a new practice and she hired a new staff member. And maybe 6 months into us working at this new practice, and, you know, we're all happy for her. She comes to my wedding. You know, I have pictures of her at my wedding. Fast forward through all of that, I found out that that new staff member is now making $5 more an hour than me. Now, in my head, I run the department. I know this doctor in and out. You know, I bring my family to her. You know, I think that we have it like we're going to be a family. But she didn't see it that way, because she paid someone else way more than me, and she didn't even address me about it. And I worked that entire 4 years without a single raise. So when I approached her about it, and I said, you know, I think it's really unfair that you pay this other employee $5 more an hour to me when you know I do more work than her. So after a week of going back and forth with her, because she did not make up her mind in that moment, after a week of going back and forth with her, she finally says to me, Isis, I can give you $1 more. $1 more won't kill me. And I was just like, wow. After 4 years of working with her, building up her schedule, making sure all of her patients were together, you know, I was only worth $25 a year. And that really hurt. That hurt me a lot. I was actually devastated. And I had to really figure out why I was devastated, because I ended up leaving that job. And I cried about it. Like I cried about it so bad. I was hurt, but I had to really figure out why I was so upset. And maybe it wasn't even really till recently that I've like put it all together, put the puzzle pieces together. It was because that let's give this scenario. When you are working at a job, they're all about team spirit. Oh, we're a team. We're working on this project as a team. We're supposed to be like a family, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes down to actually paying you, you are no longer looked at as a team member. You are looked at as a threat. And I had to reevaluate her accomplishments. Yeah, I was the one that physically built up her schedule, but that's still viewed as her accomplishment. Yeah, I helped her pack up her old office and move her to a new office, but at the end of the day, that was still viewed as her accomplishment. I got the patients from being diseased with gum disease and bleeding gums and all types of infection to a healthy mouth. And I felt as if that was my accomplishment, but in reality, it still belongs to her. And once I decided to leave that practice, I left those accomplishments. I think as people, we get so attached to a job that we forget that we don't own that job. And whatever accomplishment that job had or accolade that job received, those accomplishments do not belong to you. So I left that job and I moved on to another job, and quite honestly, the only reason why I stayed in dentistry so long is because of my childhood traumas. It's like, I'm never going to be poor again. You're never going to have me in the street. But there is a point when you realize money does not mean everything. And then you finally think to yourself, you're like, wow, people are right when they say money does not make you happy. I mean, I was miserable. And I was miserable because I was making other people's dreams come true, and not my own. My dream is to be an artist. My dream is to create. My dream is to do anything and everything to be an artist. And I was just talking to my sister about this one time. She's like, I'm literally unhappy when I'm not creating. And that was me. I'm not happy when I don't create. So that's why I design my own labels and design my printing material, and I design my website, and I really invest my time in my business because I refuse to give a job all of me, because I want to save the best of me for my own accomplishments. So whatever curly temple accolades that they get in the future, they're going to belong to me. They're not going to belong to anybody else. No one's going to ever take credit for it, because that's going to belong to me, because that is my business. And all of that being said, I mean, there's, like I said, there's tons of other reasons why I don't want to be a hygienist, but I think that is the main one. That at the end of the day, I think I would be happy as a dentist because I could have my own practice, but at the end of the day, those accomplishments, they do not belong to me. And even if you don't work in a medical field, you do something else, you really need to reevaluate where you want to go in life and what you want to do. Do you just want to be an employee and make someone else's dreams come true? Or do you want to have your own dreams come true? And it's beyond money, because even to this day, although I have made a lot of money with my business, it's my business money. It's not my money. And I think growing up poor and being broke has prepared me for what I'm doing now. I'm okay with struggling because I've struggled before. I'm okay with being broke because I've been broke before. But I'm not okay with making someone else's dreams come true. So I will eat bread for dinner. I would eat toast for dinner. I would drink water. I would do all of that to have something that I can be proud of. And I know this video was long. I hope it made sense. I didn't start Curly Temple because it was like a super passion for hair. I started Curly Temple because I'm an artist. That is what I love to do. I'm just speaking freely. I don't have any notepad, but this is just like, what was going on in my head, and I just felt inspired to do a video about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. I want to be more personal in my videos. I want to be myself. It's hard talking in the camera, but anyway, like, comment, and subscribe.